Welcome to the Claims Underground podcast with your hosts, Corey Locke and Troy Willis, where we help policyholders just like you understand your policy and how to navigate through an insurance claim. We advocate for homeowners as well as businesses when insurance companies won't pay. So if you're tired of getting the runaround and ready to find out what's really going on, then let's get down to business and learn from the insurance claims experts, Corey Locke and Troy Willis.
Hey, welcome to Claims Underground. I'm Corey Locke, and with me is my co-host, Troy Willis.
Hi, I'm Troy Willis. I'm a licensed public adjuster, retired builder, expert witness, certified appraiser and umpire, and I've been doing this for about 30 years or so in the insurance industry, and we advocate for policyholders. Today's subject, I'm sorry.
I'm also a public adjuster. I forgot that. I'm also a public adjuster, 35 years of experience, 26 with the carriers, and an expert witness and an estimator. And we're presenting a bit more information about your policy. So, Troy, go ahead and hit me back with a question I think you were queuing up to ask.
Today, we've talked about on one of our segments, just giving the people an understanding about their policies. And, we've talked about what the schedules are from schedules A, B, C, and D. It talks about their dwelling, their other structure, their contents, and also their loss of use. What we didn't get a chance to opportunity to tell, we're going to explain what a peril is, because it's important to know what a peril is to know if you have coverage. If it's not in there, you're not covered. So it's important for people to understand, am I covered? Because this is going to make a critical point when they get ready to call in to make that claim. They'll have an idea before they make that claim. If it's something they will be covered for. Not all policies cover everything for every person the same. So it's important that, they do know, because there's different levels, as we know, that we'll teach the people on what those are that gives you more coverage as the type of policy that you have. So we're going to start with that question today. What is a peril? And that way we can get a more better understanding for everybody, just in case they have questions. So I'll let you start. Let's tell the people, what is it?
So peril, it is a type of loss. It's a category of loss, which is the cause of the loss. A peril that most people will be able to say is fire. Fire is a covered peril under a fire policy. Water is a covered peril if it happens in a certain manner. Usually a sudden and an accidental release of water is a covered peril. What is not a covered peril under most policies is wave action or surface water action. Tsunami is not a covered peril under surface water, but water that from a broken pipe is a covered peril. There are some specifications of that. How did it break? Was it broken due to frost? Or was there heat being maintained in the house? That's a different question. But water is generally a covered peril as long as it's sudden and accidental. Vandalism is a covered peril under many policies. Sometimes the policies are stripped out where vandalism has limitations for when it can be applied. Vandalism might have a limitation that if the home is not being lived in for more than 30 days prior, then there's no coverage. So there is vandalism coverage. Theft is another coverage. Now, mysterious disappearance might be a limitation, but theft that can be documented, and usually, if you have a police report or a Ring camera that's documenting something being stolen, that's a covered peril. So those are the perils that are standard under a policy. There are also additional coverages, and those perils under additional coverages are a little bit nuanced, but falling objects is another peril. We discussed that yesterday. We also discussed another coverage, which was collapse. Collapse is another covered peril. Now, not many people understand what collapse means. Collapse means it's not moving anymore. Yeah, collapse is not just a little bit of cracking, a little bit of settlement, a little bit of shifting. No. And I think we had talked about this before, that collapse, I saw this firsthand when I was adjusting way, way, way a long time ago. Man goes into his shower. He's on a raised foundation. Goes into his shower, steps into his shower. All of a sudden, he's standing in his crawl space because the bottom of his shower pan dropped out. and dropped down all the way into his crawl space, all the way to the dirt. That's collapse, because there wasn't any farther than dirt that was going. And the collapse was due to the weight of people or objects or animals, or I think there's another classification, but the weight of something has caused that to collapse, and collapse is when it's come to stop. So that's a collapse. That's an additional coverage that's not traditional or not specifically called out. So are there any other perils, Troy, that I maybe didn't hit on that you're thinking about?
Lightning. Smoke isn't. That would be under the fire, but it should be if you let some of these carriers tell you there's a difference between the smoke and the fire. In California, there is one specific, you can't say that name. They lost that battle excluding smoke out of the policy. when they have wildfires and they give fire policies. But hey, finally they got that together. That's why that come to mind to say that. But no, I mean, you pretty much covered it all. I mean, even when you spoke about theft, one thing about theft that I think that's important for people to read and understand is when a person has that theft claim, they shouldn't look at the declaration and go, hey, I heard this a million times, I got $100,000 in coverage on my policy. No, you don't. Not when they just stole it. It didn't work that way. Now if you had a fire and it all burned up, then it worked that way. And that was one of the things that I think people misled, because when they look at those limitations in the policy, and it tells you the theft, again, like guns, memorabilia, silvers, and furs and things like that, they have cap limitations. And I think people should know those caps, because that's when they would need to understand that they need to get into those riders/endorsements so they can have enough coverage for those particular items. One other thing you mentioned I thought was interesting, you said, again, the damage from the shower could have been caused even by animals. And we would want the people to know the difference between animals and rodents, even though we might, they might say animals, but animals and rodents, because rodents ain't covered. So no, I think that hits it and takes it home exactly what, perils is out there. It's just a matter of them understanding where it falls, and the insurance company accept the liability, and that's where the claim will be paid under, whether it's water and, water tricky too, as we know. I remember back a year or two ago in the State Farm policies, they used to read that, if the loss occurred after 15 days, it wasn't covered. Now their policy language will read, hey, we don't care if it was wet yesterday, today, tomorrow, a year from now, we ain't covered it, But then there's that question that watered of, well, what is covered?
I think that what we try to say every single time is it's within your power and grasp to be your own best advocate, but you just have to want it, and you have to want it more than the person telling you no. No is only an answer right now. No is not forever.
Couldn't have said that better, I swear. Well, until next time, Troy Willis.
Corey Locke.
And we're out. We'll see you on our next segment. Please join us for our next segment on duties after a loss.
Thanks for listening to the Claims Underground podcast. We hope you enjoyed this segment. If you need more information on insurance policies, feel free to check out our website, www.claimsunderground.com. And remember, when the insurance companies won't pay, we're here to help. Until next time.